Truck drivers, if you've ever rolled through a weigh station and got pulled over and you thought, well, why me and not that other guy? I'm about to give you the truth. There are 3 red flags that practically guarantee that you're going to get inspected. And trust me, many drivers don't even realize that they're doing these things. Let's break this down together from a DOT cop's perspective. My name is Cole, I'm a state DOT cop, and I make videos every single week to help you stay squared away, you stay compliant, and most of all to help you stay rolling. Now let's dive into these 3 major red flags. Alright, here's the deal. Now so many drivers out there think that inspections are always completely random. And sometimes they are, but majority of times they are not. Many drivers out there think it's just luck of the draw, or they think they just got picked because they were next up in line. But the truth is there are several clear indicators that really catch our attention that many drivers do without even noticing it, that a lot of times gets them pulled aside for an inspection. There are things that we see right away and makes us think, alright, that truck, I need to have a deeper look into that truck. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what those red flags are, why they matter, and how you can avoid them. And I'll be honest, some of these things are things that even experienced or veteran truckers get wrong, or do without even noticing. Red flag number 1, the visual violation look. Now, what do I mean by that? This is the overall appearance of your truck and trailer before we even stop you or pull you aside for an inspection. So if we can see from a distance that your equipment looks very neglected on the truck and trailer, there's missing reflective tape, there's cracked lenses and lights, missing mud flaps, DOT numbers that are peeling off, or company names that are peeling off of the truck, that, my drivers, is a red flag. And you might be asking, well, why is that a red flag? And it's mainly because it tells us as an officer that if the outside of the truck looks really neglected and horrible, then what does the underneath of that truck look like? We're trained to look for what we call visible non-compliance indicators. That just means poor signs of maintenance, major disorganization, or just general neglect. And those are the trucks that usually have a lot deeper issues once we do pull them over for a full, let's say, level 1 inspection. I personally had cases where I stopped the driver or pulled them aside for a deeper look because I saw missing reflective tape and 2 ID lamps were out. And guess what? That inspection turned into a full level 1 because I was wondering what else might possibly be wrong with that truck. By the end of that level 1 inspection, I ended up finding about 4 to 5 other violations. So now you can kind of see what I mean, where when we see 1 or 2 violations as you're rolling in, sometimes, not all the times, there are other issues as well. So despite what anyone may have told you, the outside does matter. It's a DOT cop telling you this personally. The outside appearance does matter. Comment down below if no matter what, you try to keep your truck clean and squared away looking as possible. Now I want you to think of it this way. Your truck is like your uniform. When it looks really squared away, you give off the impression that you're all the way on top of your game all around. And I'm not saying that your truck has to be polished and showroom clean ready. Obviously, you're on the road, you're driving hard, you're working hard. Your truck's not going to be in perfect condition all the time. But just like the basics, your lights should be working, your reflective tape should be squared away, lettering, tires, load securement, all that stuff really tells a story before you even stop at the scale house. Before I jump to that second red flag, comment down below what is the craziest violation you've ever gotten as a truck driver. I want to know because reading these are always super interesting. Red flag number 2, driver behavior and demeanor. Now this one surprises a lot of people because a lot of inspections start before you even hand over all of your documents. They start at that first approach between inspector and truck driver. Keep in mind, we watch how you pull into the scale house or weigh station, and we pay attention just to your general interaction. If you're speeding through the weigh station, you're rolling your eyes, looking super upset and angry, or being really disrespectful and just saying out-of-pocket things for no reason at all, that's a red flag. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you have to be all positive and super smiles and how are you and cracking jokes. That's not what I'm saying here. There's a big difference between just being professional and being unkind and sketchy. If you're confident, professional, and respectful, usually those are the drivers that know their stuff and they almost never have any issues. And those are the drivers that usually pass inspections more in general or get through inspections a lot smoother than other drivers. Meanwhile, when somebody's trying to avoid eye contact with us, if we're asking our normal interview questions and they're speaking under their breath, we can't hear them, we're struggling to hear them, they're mumbling, they have a ton of missing paperwork that they've been searching for 15 minutes, it does make the whole process a lot less smooth. It drags the process out because it just takes longer, and it makes you wonder, is this person acting like this for a specific way? Now I know everybody's human, some people just get nervous or they don't have great people skills. But again, these are just things that we look out for. DOT inspectors can literally tell within the first 30 seconds if a driver is going to be squared away or not. I had a guy pull into a weigh station, and by the time I asked for his license and reg, he was already digging through his phone for about 5 to 6 minutes because he had none of his information. He didn't know what any of it was, and he had to text and call like 3 different people to find out where everything was. And you guessed it, that inspection did not go well. The truck was not well maintained, and it went downhill from there. He was respectful though and kind. I'll give that to him. So here's a major tip that I tell a lot of drivers out there. When you pull into a weigh station or scale house, or if you get pulled aside for an inspection, just try to stay calm, try to be professional, answer questions straight, and just hand over whatever is asked for right away if you can. That one tip right there will take you a long way and make things a lot smoother. Again, you don't have to be chatty and be cracking jokes and asking how's your day and all that stuff. That's not not what I'm saying. But like I said earlier, professionalism goes a very long way. Sometimes your attitude and demeanor can save you 30 minutes of your day. And who doesn't like quick, smooth inspections? If you're still with me right now, it means that you really care about staying ahead of these DOT inspections and trying to be more compliant, stay compliant, or get compliant, which is amazing. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already so that this video can get pushed out to way more truckers and they can be squared away just like you. Red flag number 3 is going to be paperwork and logbook red flags. This one gets so many truckers jammed up. The paperwork in the logbook section, I see people, even experienced drivers, struggle with this on a daily basis. In many cases, this starts before an inspector even walks up to your door. In many states, your DOT number is already ran. Inspectors can already see your inspection history, recent violations, and company status before you even pull into the scale house because they have screens up that relays all that information to them. So if we check and you've had repeat offenses with violations that you still have on your truck, if you have repeat offenses of false logs or logs not current, that's a massive red flag right there. But once we actually get to the driver, here's what seals the deal. Incomplete or messy logbooks. If we see visual violations right there on the truck, we say, did you do a pre-trip? And you say no or kind of, another red flag. Fuel receipts or shipping papers that don't match your hours of service entries is a big one. And straight up missing paperwork. And that's just things like registration, IFTA, and insurance cards, things of that nature. You know what I'm talking about. All that stuff really stands out right away. And here's what you gotta understand. Many drivers that are cutting corners on their logs aren't hiding it as well as they think they are. A missing signature here, a skipped DVIR, a timestamp that doesn't add up. Those are things that'll make inspectors look even closer at all of your logs and your paperwork in general. I once pulled in a guy that had a spotless truck. I mean, like, sick setup, beautiful setup. Everything looked really squared away, but then I asked for his logbook or ELD because he was running ELDs and it was completely out of sync, not current nor certified. This guy had a pickup like 600 miles away, just a few short hours before I stopped him, and the math just was not mathing. That of course triggered a deeper look into his logs and hours of service, and I found 2 falsifications there, and that put him out of service. So the takeaway there is that DOT isn't looking to get you for any reason. We're really looking for consistency. So if your paperwork's always clean, your logs are always clean, and your stories always match up with everything, you really have nothing to worry about. Let me know down below if you have any important or imminent logbook questions that you want me to try to answer for you. I want to know what's tripping up the most drivers with ELDs and logbooks right now. Right now, I'm going to give you some bonus wildcard red flags that you probably should know, and it's going to save you time, money, and violations, so here we go. Aggressive driving near the scale a lot of times get you chased down by a chase vehicle. We in Vermont have these chase vehicles usually at the detail site or they're sitting somewhere outside of the detail site. So if you're driving aggressively through the scale house or you drive by, a lot of times that chase vehicle is going to stop you and going to deal with you. So don't drive aggressively near the scale at all or drive aggressively through the scales. Don't do it. The other wildcard red flag is going to be unsecured load. If you're rolling through a weigh station with your load all tilted sideways, missing straps are broken, loose and all that, those are things that get you pulled over almost immediately because a lot of times they are out of service violations. Missing placards for your hazmat is another major thing that I see inspectors immediately pull people aside for. So make sure your vehicle is placarded properly. Another wild card that sometimes get people pulled aside is going to be a leaking glad hand seal. So you know those rubber grommets around your glad hand, if those are letting out a ton of air like audible loud hissing, a lot of times that's a reason for them to say, hey, pull aside, we're going to do an inspection. Or some inspector just have you fix it and keep you moving. But again, just something to watch out for. Either buy or just carry some extra of those rubber grommets that goes on your glad hands. So if they get worn, cracked, or broken, you can just replace them. Those are all things that catch your eyes even when we're not even doing targeted enforcement. So I'm glad that I got to let you know that. Now you can share it with everyone else. So keep in mind, sometimes it's not what you're doing wrong. Some of you aren't doing anything wrong per se at all. It's what your truck might be doing wrong. So make sure that your truck is good and you're most likely going to be good. And I'll be honest, some of the cleanest trucks that I've ever inspected were because of a single missed detail. Again, things like clearance lamps being out, headlights being out, and things of that nature is always a cause for a deeper look. If you take anything from this video, please remember this. Inspections are not always random. In fact, they're more targeted than they are random. There's almost always a reason that DOT cops choose one truck over another. Now, I'll be the first to say you can't control every single factor. Sometimes it is random. Sometimes you will get pulled in for an inspection. But you can control your truck's image, your professionalism, and your paperwork. When all 3 of those things are dialed right in, your odds of getting the good old wave on through go way up. Let's recap real quick. The top 3 red flags that'll guarantee that you get inspected by DOT. 1, the visual violation look. Your truck tells your story before we even speak to you. 2 is going to be driver behavior. Your attitude, confidence, professionalism goes a super long way. 3 is going to be paperwork and logs. Your documentation is your defense. If you as a truck driver handle those 3 things, you'll not only pass more inspections, but you'll probably get pulled aside way less often. If you like this video and learned value from it, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share this video with all your other trucking buddies. As always, stay safe, keep rolling.